I see we have a hand up, Kevin.
Hey, Masai, good.
Okay, thanks to you. I'll be taking us through the basics of machine learning. All right. So if anyone has any questions or just a few comments, I don't know, Kevin, did you want to say something just before we begin?
Nothing much. I was just realizing with this. So yeah, don't remember you.
Oh, all right. No, that's great. Hopefully you get something from this session. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna switch off my video now, just for bandwidth. Okay, can you guys see the screen now? All right. It can be a pretty complex subject, but I think in this discovery, they will be able to kind of make it very digestible. All right. Okay, so welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's AWS Discovery Day. We'll be covering the fundamentals of machine learning, right? What it is, why it matters, and how organizations can start applying it effectively. Customers expect personalized product recommendations. And so now we ask ourselves, how do we make those recommendations? And that is where machine learning actually comes in, right? So traditionally, right, businesses would use a rules-based approach. Developers would hard code rules like if the customer buys shoes, recommend socks, right? But this quickly becomes unmanageable, right? It's biased, it's time consuming, and it can't really adapt to unpredictable customer behavior. Okay. Machine learning changes the approach, right? Instead of coding every single rule, we feed the system large amounts of customer and sales data. And then the model learns patterns and makes predictions. And so in this case, those predictions are recommendations. And so the benefit is that this system writes its own rules by learning from the data. It adapts as customer behavior changes, and once it's trained, it can make predictions in real time without extra manual effort. Right. But now we ask, what is a model? Right? Can anyone tell me what a model is without actually jumping into the slide? It's not a fashion model, right? The model is essentially just a trained algorithm, right? It identifies patterns in data and it makes predictions. It makes these predictions without us having to explicitly tell it what to look for. So in this case, we'd feed the model purchase history, customer and sales data, right? It also takes data from the most recent purchase and then it makes recommendations. Now let's take a look at a simple algorithm. Before everyone loses their seat, right, I'm going to break this down to something simple. So this is a very simplified way to think about a model. It's essentially a mathematical function with inputs that we call features and values that we call weights that determine their importance, right? So this is a simple linear regression, right? And this is a simple model. Now, within the features, features are the key pieces of information we feed into the model. For example, whether a product is a hat or not can be a feature, right? And then in terms of weights, weights tell the model how much each feature matters. If a customer has bought, let's say, 8 hats in the past, the model will then assign a high weight to the hat feature. As we add more features such as whether the product comes from a favorite brand, the model combines them, each with its own weight, to make a prediction. And now, in terms of the output, the model calculates a score. If that score passes a certain threshold, we recommend the product, right? So in this case, the calculation results in a score above the threshold, so the system recommends the item. So let's say our threshold is 1, right? And so now let's actually take a look at the 3 categories of machine learning algorithms. So broadly speaking, there are three main categories of machine learning, right? Um, we have supervised machine learning, we have unsupervised machine learning, and reinforcement learning, right? So first, let's take a look at supervised learning. So with supervised learning, we train a model using labeled data. This means the correct answer is already known and provided during the training. So we give it what the data is, right? And this is the correct answer to this question. This is how we train the model. For example, let's take a look at this example. We have, we show the model a bunch of pictures, right, of cars that are labeled car, right? We label the pictures of the car's car, right? And then the model learns the pattern and can then classify the new unseen data. So now when we give it a picture of this black car, it can now identify that, okay, this is actually a car. So with supervised machine learning, we use labeled data, right? And so let's take a look at some of the types of supervised machine learning problems. So supervised learning problems generally fall into three types, right? We have binary classification, multi-class classification, and regression problems, right? In terms of binary classification, the model predicts one of two outcomes. For example, whether a transaction is fraudulent or not, right? That is a binary classification. Then we have multi-class classification. In multi-class classification, we have more than two categories. For instance, classifying support tickets into IT, returns, or accounting, right? And then we have regression problems, right? And these involve predicting a continuous value, such as forecasting stock prices. Okay, and so I think before we move on, does everyone follow what supervised learning is about? So now we can actually take a look at unsupervised learning. And so the second category is unsupervised learning, and this is where the model must find patterns without labeled data. Now we're not telling it what the correct answer is. Now the model clusters, so let me go into it now. The model clusters or groups data on its own, uncovering hidden structures. So we have the original data here, and what the model does is it essentially groups this data or clusters the data on its own, and then it figures out the differences and the hidden structures. Okay, so now let's actually take a look at a use case, for example, right? An example is detecting anomalies in speed camera data, right? The model identifies unusual readings that may signal hardware failure. So, for example, we have a bunch of cars that are going at certain speeds, and let's say we have cars that are going 250 miles per hour, right? And let's say this is a 60 zone road. There's a very high probability that the speed cameras are actually just faulty, right? There's no way, it's hard to believe that a car would be going 250 in a 60-mile zone, for example. With reinforcement learning, this is the third category, and this is where models learn through trial and error, right? This is useful when the goal is clear, but the best way to get there isn't. So a good example of it is AWS Deep Racer, right? Where cars learn to race on their own. It's a machine learning algorithm where essentially these cars learn how to drive by themselves. They know where the destination is. We're not entirely sure the best way in which to go about reaching that goal. And so that's where reinforcement learning comes in. So here, effectively, the agent interacts with an environment, takes actions, and gets rewards or penalties, improving over time. All right, if everyone has taken a look at that, give you just a minute to open the link. Okay, so as you're filling out the customer evaluation form, I'm just going to carry on with the deep learning, right? Does anyone have any questions so far also? So now we dive into deep learning, which is a powerful subset of machine learning, right? So deep learning is a part of the broader AI family. It handles problems too complex for traditional machine learning. We have artificial intelligence, and under AI, we have machine learning, and within machine learning, we have deep learning. So as we can see here, it requires more computational power with deep learning, but it also solves more advanced problems such as image recognition, natural language understanding, etc. And if we had to take a look at an example, think of it this way, right? AI can play chess using rules. Machine learning can learn from human games, and deep learning can train itself by playing millions of games against itself. And that's a cool way of kind of differentiating between AI, machine learning, and deep learning. So how does deep learning relies on visual, which automatically extract features from here? Kind of works like the human brain. So the key difference is that deep learning removes the need for manual feature engineering, and it learns directly from the data. And so it derives its own features, making it highly powerful for tasks like speech and vision, right? So they use deep learning for things like computer vision for maybe self-driving cars, etc. Here's an example with image classification. A deep learning model takes pixels as input. Finally, it returns or cars, right? So now it can identify, okay, this is a person, that is an animal, or that is a car, right? Object identity. Now let's take a look at the machine learning pipeline. This essentially looks at how organizations typically build and deploy machine learning solutions. So with the machine learning pipeline, this pipeline goes from defining the business problem, collecting and preparing data, engineering features, training and tuning models, evaluating the performance of the models, and finally deploying the model to production. Now let's take a look at the Amazon call center problem. So this is a real example from Amazon where it's routing customer calls to the right agent. This machine learning problem is predict department based on customer. So some customer calls the company, and we need to figure out a way in which we can create a machine learning model to forward the call or route the call to the correct department, right? So first we need to collect customer attributes like recent orders or maybe their Prime membership. Amazon Prime is a membership on Amazon. Essentially, it's kind of take a lot more in South Africa, right? So from collecting the data, we now move on to data pre-processing. So we clean and we prepare the data and we make sure that it's usable. This may include categorizing agent skill sets, etc., right? And then we also visualize the data to understand it better. For example, most calls may be related to returns, Prime, or Kindle. And then we move on to feature engineering, right? Feature engineering means creating useful input variables such as whether the customer owns a Kindle or how many days since their last order. Okay? And then we have model training and tuning. So we split the data set into training, validation, and test sets to ensure fair evaluation of our model. In terms of model training and tuning, the training is iterative. So we adjust the parameters like learning rate to improve accuracy. And as we train this model, we improve, right? And then we move on to model evaluation. So essentially, evaluation checks whether the model solves the business problem. For instance, how many calls are correctly routed on the first attempt? So that's how we would maybe evaluate our model. How accurate is the model? Right, and then we move on to model deployment. Once we are satisfied with how the model is performing, we deploy the model, and now customers automatically reach the right agent without multiple transfers, without one person having to transfer the caller to this department and that department saying, no, actually, this isn't my thing. I'm going to forward it to the other person, right? If you're typing into the chat, I can check it out now. All right, and so we took a look at the whole machine learning pipeline, and now the question becomes, what can you do with machine learning? Well, the next steps usually involve identifying use cases in your own organization and then applying all of these technologies to make your business more effective and more efficient, right? All right, so thank you for your time today. I hope this session has given you a clearer understanding of machine learning basics and how AWS can get you started. I tried sort of distilling it and making it nice and digestible. All right.
Thanks, Musa.
Thanks for attending. I hope you learned something new.
Yeah, I did. Thanks for that, man.
Not a problem. How do we decide whether to use supervised, unsupervised, or reinforcement learning for a problem? It really depends on how complex the use case is, right? It really depends on the use case. In use cases where maybe you just like to create effectively a business GPT or like an AI that is trained on your company's data, you might actually just want to use a pre-trained model. But if we're talking about building a machine learning model from scratch, yeah, it really depends on the complexity.